Hi there, Dr. Sheeper. Welcome back to our TGIF Talks, episode 182, I believe. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by co-host Anonymous Phil.
That's me.
There's you. All right. Let's roll the intro. Well, how was your first day back to work?
Fine. A little busy.
Oh, shit. You were busy?
Yeah.
Were you just having to get caught back up, or what made it busier than normal? Because I can tell you what made my day busier than normal, and I don't think it had to deal with anything with the vacation, so I'm just curious what made yours busier.
Getting caught back up.
So
we have things we have to get done by the end of the month, right? Well, stuff keeps coming in throughout the month, and so when someone takes a week off, like I did, it kind of sets everything behind. You know, you have to kind of get back caught up on pace, so you get all the things that need to be done by the end of the month.
Okay.
So at the end of the month coming close, it makes it a little difficult, but it will be all right.
Okay. Yeah, because like today, I didn't check the transaction logs. I'm sure I had the most, now that I think about it. I just had a lot of customers. Like, after I got through my 86 damn emails.
I get that in a day.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But your manager sends you...
Well, I should say I used to. And then I got taken off a whole bunch of the email list because they're all just BS that I don't want. Of the 100 some odd emails I get a day, only about 1 or 2 a week actually pertain to me.
Oh boy. So what did you end up... So how many emails
It's all just BS that's just either for the whole department or the intercompany, and it's like, half of this I don't care about. It doesn't really affect me. And so, yeah.
So how many emails did you have then when you got back?
I didn't even open it because I didn't want to know. Oh.
See,
I'm gonna open up my emails tomorrow. I got back and I was like, I don't feel like looking at this. I don't really want to know. I'm sure if anything actually pertained to me, my boss will come and let me know, because that's usually how it goes. I get an email, and then if it actually matters, he'll actually verbally tell me about it. So then it's like, what's the point of the email? So I just didn't bother to open up any of them.
Yeah, so we my 86 emails, I say at least 50% I need to read. At least.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because, well, okay, so a lot of it's a few, so since I was gone, how many working days? Friday. I was gone 6 working days, so at least 6 of them were reports. Mm-hmm. That I didn't bother to read them because it's 6 days ago. It was 8 days ago on the last one. So it's like it does not matter at this point. Although I opened some other emails and I did read through them just as a curiosity. I was like, oh, what caused this issue? And I was like, okay, well, all right. Well, hopefully it got taken care of. I just delete the email.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Shit.
Yep.
This shit was a week.
Hopefully the problem is taken care of, because it's not my problem.
This shit was a week old. And I get my latest report in for those versions, and the shit was still on it. And I'm like, motherfucker, they didn't do it. It's like, I don't know if it's because my boss just is used to me doing it, and so, or she's just used to, her workers just seeing that, oh, this needs to be done and doing it. I have no idea, but it wasn't frickin' done, and so I was like, Jesus Christ. So I went and did them. And I would look at my coworker and be like, did you know about this? And they're like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, why didn't you do something? She said, oh. Just nothing, had nothing to say. I'm just like, this is dumb. And the other one, I'm like, it wasn't her fault. She doesn't know how to market the correct way to do this. And I also don't think she knew you had to do it. But why she just ignored the report, couldn't tell you. So I was glad I opened that report because shit didn't get done. So I was like, oh, I'm back for like 2 hours. I'm already having to get fixed crap that wasn't done when I was gone. I'm not even a manager, and I have to fix crap.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it was the funniest shit because the mail carrier came in to get our inter-office mail.
Mm-hmm.
And my boss was in the office where she picked up the mail, and she made a joke like, "Yeah, see, it's taken care of today." And I'm like, that tells me that at least once during the time I was gone, it didn't get taken care of. And she went to pick up the bags, noticed they hadn't been, the sign hadn't been flipped to the branch that it was supposed to get sent to, and so, she's like, "Hey, can you guys open this and take a look because they're keyed shut bags." And it's just like, really? I knew it. I knew when I left. I'm like, this isn't going to get done. There's another thing. Yeah. We send our rate sheet to another bank because they like to do the competition thing. And I told the other full-timer many times. I was like, Tuesday, please send this in. I fucking didn't care. I was on vacation. I kind of forgot about it. I get back. I was just curious. I look at her, I'm like, did you send the rate sheet? She's like, what? And I'm like, did you send the rate sheet? She went and looked and went, no. And she's like, do I need to send it now? And I'm like, we get a new one tomorrow. I'm like, no, at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. So freaking stupid. But, oh well.
Well, I will say, for me, it definitely went down, though. Because when I was in the battery shop, I'd get emails for frickin' everything. Like, anytime a unit got sent out, received, or whatever, it's like stuff I didn't even touch. I'd get an email about. Just everything. And it's just like, none of this pertains to me. But they want to make sure everyone's informed, and it's like... But now that I'm not on the email list, it's gone way down. Because the communication is not that intense.
Okay.
But it's still sufficient enough.
Fair. No, so... And then I was just busy in general. Part of it was one of the part-timers, the full-timer, I should say. After she, it's nice about this. When I get there, she will literally do everything, all the transactions until she notices that I'm done working on either emails, scanning stuff, or doing a variety of my normal morning tasks. And so when she notices that I'm done with that, she stops working. And will do nothing then. And then I just get...
What do you mean by nothing? Like just pull out her phone and sit down? Or what do you mean?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. And since... and because her station is at the very end, she will just sit there huddled below the thing, so no customers can see them. I can be seen from the drive. I can be seen straight from the door. I'm smack dab in the middle of the branch, and I'm just like, great. Which is Granted, that's the way it's always been ever since I started. But it's just annoying. So I have to do all this shit. Oh, and then I had to make a million phone calls today. And I asked her, and she was like, "Oh, I did most of your CD list." I'm like, "What do you mean most? What was the last one you did?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know? How do you not keep track? You have a list. You have a list. You know when I'm coming back. Okay? Here's all the people on the list that I was told to take care of. Okay? All you have to do is when that date comes up on there, call the goddamn customer and tell them you have a CD coming due. That's all you have to do. It's not rocket science. It's not hard."
Wait, is that what they're supposed to do? Because they didn't call me when my CD was up.
Well, our branch.
How early do you call?
Huh?
How early do you call?
About 9 a.m.
No, well, no. I mean, like, how early in terms of, like, a week before the maturity date, a month before the maturity date?
I call the So I used to call ahead of the maturity date, but then I got lazy, and also it was just kind of a pain in the ass. So I usually just call on the maturity date, or
maybe that's one.
Or if the maturity date.
Because I went in, like 3 or 4 days before the maturity date.
Yeah, they can't do anything if you do that.
What? Well, no. But like, because I had to go there to do something else, and then the banker told me, that I told them what I wanted to do with it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can do that," but I have to wait till the maturity date. But I was like, I didn't want to go back in there and have to call the bank, So they just wrote a little note to themselves on how I wanted the money to proceed once the maturity date occurred.
They didn't make you sign anything?
Because I thought they could do that. I thought they could just put it in their system like, "Oh, okay, when on this date, do this,"
Well,
and they're like, no. What?
You didn't have to sign anything?
Well, I didn't. I might have. I did. I did. But she didn't sign her end until it happened.
Oh.
Basically, I signed it early.
Oh. See, we can't really do that because we have to get the final withdrawal amount. And so we don't know what that final amount is until the CD comes due. I guess I could always model it, but so you just wait.
Yeah, no, I signed it early, and then she said she'll sign it on the day.
Yeah, so no, I waited. So I always just make customers wait.
Hmm.
Do
you guys have a 1 week grace period?
Or you have the maturity date plus 10 calendar days.
Yeah, that might be what it was. 10 calendar days or 10 business days?
10 calendar days.
Oh, really? Because I think ours was 10. I want to say it was 10 business days.
10 business days is a long fucking time. That's like 2 weeks. Or longer.
That's what they said. 2 weeks. What?
That's a long fucking time. That's like 2 weeks or more.
Well, that's what I thought about. I couldn't remember.
Because every single Saturday and Sunday is a non-processing day, so therefore not a business day. And if you have any federal holidays in there, that's a non-business day. Even if the bank's open, like Juneteenth, my bank is open, but the Federal Reserve is closed, therefore not a business day. Because the customer will call and be like, "Where are my checks?" I said, 10 business days, ma'am. It had been 7 business days. But it had been like a week and a half or more at that point. And I'm like, you gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Yeah.
But, no, well, I don't, I guess we probably could do it early, but we just DocuSign. You just tell the customer, hey, watch your email when the day comes. Or if the customer doesn't do email, then we just mail it to them, and then we just do it for them without a signature. Which, whatever. You don't like to do it too often, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Those old ladies, they're like, I'm 95 years old. No, and it really, we only call, like, certain branches call, and then, like, you're only supposed to call, like, certain customers, the regulars, the ones with lots of money. I call everybody, just because, why the fuck not? Because it's like, what's the difference between a 25, they're, like, the average amount, I'd say, is between $10,000 and $25,000. I'm like, I would call literally 0 people if I only reserved for large amounts. Because it's like, is 25,000 a large amount? No.
For me,
To
me, 25,000.
Well, I mean, to you or I, it's a lot. But, like, in the banking world, it's like...
That would be a nice little paycheck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to you or I, 25,000 is... That's a whole year's salary after tax. But it's just like...
Not quite a year, but yeah.
But it's just like... Is it really... I don't know. You just think to yourself, is it really...
It's a healthy income.
Yeah, but like, when you compare it to the other CDs, you're just like, that's not very much money. And I know a lot of people...
Yeah, I suppose if you're like 80 years old, living off Social Security, and all that you have is a CD with 25,000, then yeah, that probably is not a lot of money.
Well, actually, it depends. If you're living strictly off Social Security, that's a lot of money. If you're not living strictly off Social Security, it's probably not a lot of money.
Well, it depends how you're living. Are you like pinching nickels to live off Social Security? Or are you very reasonably living off Social Security with money to spare? Because if you're nickel and diming yourself through Social Security, living cheap as possible, I wouldn't really say you're living off Social Security.
No. Social Security...
You have a much better quality of life.
No, Social Security is not... Social Security, depending on when you retire, doesn't actually pay for your bills sometimes.
Well, I know.
They make less than we do.
Well, yeah. Well, it has a negative 4% rate of return currently. You make more money throwing your Social Security. If they did not have Social Security, you would make more money literally putting that in a savings account for 40 odd plus years, rather than giving it to the government for them to hold on to.
Fuck! You'd have better luck just throwing it in a regular checking account.
Oh yeah.
At negative 4%, inflation over 50 years, on average, is not greater than 4%.
Yes, which is why I don't...
It's on average 3 or less.
Which is why I don't get why they can't just throw it into an automatic 401k, at which you have the discretion at your own will to decide if you want it to go into a 401k or not. You could choose to take the lump sum, and most people probably would. However, I think that if it automatically was sent into a 401k, most people would try not to touch it.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing, right? Is that when you give people the option, and those people feel like they're struggling, they will take it, which is why they threw the whole Social Security thing together, so that way they're forced to have money taken out. But the money that's taken out is worthless.
Yeah. Well, they made Social Security so that people didn't have to work to death.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that they still kind of do because of how little you actually end up with.
Well, it didn't used to be the case.
No. Yeah.
Everybody says...
I think they will have to do something different for our generation, because they're saying mid-2030s it's going to be run dry.
Well, it ran dry because the government didn't...
Stop funding it.
No! The government actually did not put their fingers into it. That is a lie that people believe, but it is not true. The government never touched Social Security. What happened was the government never adjusted how much they put into Social Security, and they didn't bother to. They hardly bothered to adjust how much people take out. And so the system hasn't fucking changed in 70 years. And so
it never cut up with inflation.
The problem is the other problem is there are less people putting into Social Security than there are taking out, which doesn't work. They didn't expect such a drastic population decline.
Now, is the reason for that because of individual business owners, or what is that?
No, it's because Gen Z you could put Gen Z and millennials together, and there are less of them than there are boomer. There were at one point, anyways. Nowadays, a lot of them have died off, and so there are finally starting to be more of us than them. But there's still a shit ton of them, and they still take out a shit ton of money. We don't put enough in, because another thing is, we don't make as much as we should. We don't make jack all, because wages haven't gone up. Because if wages went up, the amount going into Social Security would also go up. But wages didn't go up. There's literally less people putting into Social Security. The whole system was flawed because of fucking capitalism, not because of the government. I mean, the government was lazy.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, it's.
But they didn't pull money out. It's a flawed system that nobody bothered to fucking fix. And now it's like, well, what do we do? And they're like, let's make them work till they're 72. And it's like, we could have prevented this.
So this is as of 2023. Baby boomers made up 21% of the population. Millennials alone made up 21.7. Gen Z alone made up 20.7.
Now, granted,
that is nearly 42% of the population was made double baby boomers.
Now, here's the other thing, though. What percentage of those Gen Zers are actually working? And then look at the average wages at that current age bracket compared to what boomers were getting, adjusted for inflation and PPP, purchasing power parity. You adjust for that. We don't make jack all compared to what they were making back in the 1940s. When you adjust for inflation and PPP, you don't get jack all. And it's like, oh, we're making less than they did. And also, when they put money in, there was hardly anybody taking money out. And now they get to reap the rewards of the last fucking 70 years. And what will we get? Jack all. Yes, I figured my numbers were wrong. I figured they were wrong. I figured it was an exaggeration. But just look at it. Millennials, they're barely more. Barely more.
No, but that's millennials alone. You're not including Gen Z.
I know. It was over exaggeration, which I figured it was. Thank you for correcting me. I figured it was an over exaggeration. But I guarantee you, us combined probably still makes less than the boomers did back in the fucking 60s and 70s. When they were our ages. For how much they earn. When accounted for inflation and PPP.
So, I don't know what it comes out to, but it says they made 40 cents an hour. What is 40 cents an hour adjusted for inflation in 2024?
What year was that?
40s.
Okay, that's not boomers. That's the silent generation.
Well, that's what you said, 40s.
I know. I should have said. That's why I adjusted to the 60s and 70s for boomers.
You didn't say that the first time.
I know I didn't say that the first time. Like, I had to make an exaggeration. But it still works. So let's put 1945 money to today. Why did it? Okay. $19.45. Let's do 46. Post-war, lots of inflation. Okay, I only have 2023 from the Federal Reserve.
All right, and what's that adjusted for inflation per hour?
Holy fuck. $12.49.
That's not much more than minimum wage now.
In Nebraska. Lots of states still go by the federal minimum wage, which is like $7.
And several go way above.
True.
Seattle is like 15.
What is the average
minimum?
minimum?
In 1974, it was $2 an hour.
Yeah, but how much? But see, here's the thing, though. That's only adjusted for inflation. That doesn't adjust for PPP.
I suppose.
Which is what you really need to look at. How much did goods cost back then? I can guarantee you it was a lot. Like a car. Actually, a car. How much was a...
Well, I can tell you right now, and my dad, we actually had this conversation last night with my parents. A brand new car in 1970, he said cost, I think it was 1968, cost $3,800. What is that adjusted for inflation?
Well, I'm looking.
1968. No, 1969. 1969, and it was $3,800.
Well, I'm looking at 1945 currently.
What? We weren't talking about the boomers, I thought.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 30. So I gotta readjust. Okay, well, I gotta readjust things then, because I was going $1946. Okay, so we need to go 1969. How much was it?
$3,800.
That's a $31,000 car.
Yeah, and that's about what they cost now, maybe a little more.
But you aren't going to afford a $31,000 car or a $35,000.
And you think you could afford a $38,000 car back then?
$3,800 car. It was a lot easier.
What percentage of that was of your income?
Hey, actually, look at housing prices. Those fuckers have exceeded inflation time and time again.
No, but okay. Let's take $2 an hour in 1970. Adjust that for inflation now.
1969, $2.
It's 1970, but it doesn't matter a whole lot.
$16.61. So they were earning more than we are now.
So hang on. So $16.31 is equivalent to multiply by roughly 2,000. You know, it'll be roughly $32,000 a year. Back then, you said a new car was $31,000, right?
Yeah.
Which would be 95% of their take-home pay. Now, look up new price of car today and average income per hour today.
What? Wait, $2 was the average in 1970 or the minimum?
Yeah, that was the thing. Okay, so I guess we'll take federal minimum wage right now. Is that still $7.25 or is it $9?
Yeah, it's still $7.25. So
now look at.
So your math isn't going to work out very well. You're getting fucked. Because federal minimum wage has only gone up $5.25.
I feel like. Is it really still $7.25?
Yes, they have not touched it since the 90s.
No, they did. No. Oh, no, that's Nebraska.
That's state. Nebraska just raised it. By 2025, we're going to be making $15 an hour for minimum wage.
We won't. Minimum wage will.
Well, I won't be surprised unless we get better jobs.
My friend.
Unless we get better jobs, I won't be surprised if we're closer to minimum wage in 2025 than we are now.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm saying $15 now would be a pay deduction, sir.
Yeah, not by much. But
it is
there you go. Federal minimum wage is $7.25.
All right. Let's use Nebraska numbers. No, wait, that still is not better.
It's not.
What is the price of a new car?
Average?
Yeah, I don't know. Average price new car average. I imagine it's somewhere in the 30s, right?
No. $47,433.
27,000?
47,000.
40. What? What kind of car are you buying that costs almost 50 grand?
You realize the most popular car in America?
No. Okay. Take Teslas out of the market, okay?
No, Phil, no. It's not that. The most popular car in America is not a car. It's a Ford F-150. A Ford F-150, for what most people would drive, starts in the $30,000 range. And then
what's the average price of Honda Accord?
But most people aren't driving Honda Accords.
You said that was the average car. You said average truck.
But that's the most popular vehicle in America.
Yeah, but if we talk specifically car, what is the most popular car?
Well, it's the Honda Accord.
Exactly.
But the Honda Accord doesn't even crack. I don't think the Honda Accord's even the top 5 most popular vehicles.
Honda Accord.
It might be 4.
2022 costs $27,000.
The bare minimum. We got an average price.
That is average price.
Oh, 22,000 bare. That's the average?
No, 27,000 is average price for a 2022.
For a 2022. We're working in 2023 numbers.
Well, they don't have that for all of them.
Right.
2022 is 2 years old, okay? It's not that bad. All right, wait, here it is. No, it's still about the same. 2024 is 27,600. Hasn't changed much.
So, the average price of a car has come down a bit, but people aren't driving cars anymore.
See, I think we still need to adjust, though, versus is the average person... what is the average vehicle driven by a Zoomer and not the average car driven by a Boomer?
Most Zoomers, I don't think majority of Zoomers drive a piece of shit or don't drive at all.
Exactly.
Because they can't afford a new vehicle because they're making $5 because they're making $7.25.
But I still don't want the Boomers' cars to offset what we drive.
Which we don't drive because we can't afford to drive. I will say gas has remained pretty much impervious to inflation.
What if we looked at average wage of a millennial?
It's rough.
We found that the average salary is $1,376 a week. 1,376 times 52. 71,000? Is that? Oh, I guess these are millennials. We're technically Zoomers.
That's GDP per capita. That's just average GDP per capita.
Well, you know, bulk people are millennials. You know. All right.
That's true.
So
actually, the bulk number of people are Gen X, I believe.
wage earning people?
Is boomers.
Wage. What? I thought you said a bunch of boomers have retired.
They still earn more than all of
not earn. The population.
Oh, well, yes, population-wise, millennials are barely bigger than boomers, but boomers still vastly out-earn millennials. Like,
well, yes,
it's stupid. It is like the percentage is stupid. Actually, Gen X gets fucked too. The boomers, they have so much goddamn wealth and power. It's fucking stupid. It's insane. The numbers just don't work. You're like, what the fuck? Yes, the price of a lot of things has actually improved since the 1940s. TVs, of course, healthcare has also skyrocketed.
Actually, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. In Nebraska, average income per boomer is $50,000. Average income for Gen X is $50,000. Average income for millennial is $40,000.
That's Nebraska isn't as fucked up as a lot of other states are.
Like what state?
California, New York, Chicago, Texas, and then you could probably go to the South. They're probably pretty fucked up too. It's
California baby boomers is 61,000, Gen X 60,000, millennial 40,000. I'd say it's that bad. I mean, there is a difference, but
once again, Nebraska.
New York is 60,000 for baby boomer, 50,000 for 58,000 for Gen X, 45,000 for millennial. These numbers are from Business Insider, so I don't know how much you want to trust them.
But the other thing about boomers is though, by that age, how much are they able to supplement with interest? How much are they able to get away with because they don't have a car payment anymore? Or they don't have a house payment because they just pay those in cash because they have the saved up funds from better times. So they work shittier jobs. Like remember when we were driving through all those visitor centers, how it was all older people working?
Yeah.
Because those jobs don't pay, but boomers don't need the money. They have money, so they work those jobs because why the fuck not? They work it because they want to, not because they have to.
Well, this would actually go against with that. It says baby boomers have the most student loan debt. On average, $43,000.
They shouldn't have any student loan debt. That literally $43,000 is more. 43,000. What? That doesn't make any sense.
Actually, I somewhat kind of believe this because I don't know. You probably don't watch as much Dave Ramsey as I do, but when I watch quite a bit of Dave Ramsey, and I guess I haven't seen enough to fully justify my claims. But it seems like a lot of people that have money problems are people that are in their 40s and up.
But
so
see,
Gen X and up.
Well, those are. But see, Dave Ramsey, he attracts a certain type of people.
He attracts people that want to get out of debt.
Right, but those don't represent the vast majority. They represent a minority.
I'm just saying what I have noticed from watching.
43,000 doesn't make any sense. That's literally more than what they fucking paid to go to school back in 1960. That's what doesn't make any sense about that. How the fuck could they have $43,000 worth of student loan debt unless it's not theirs? Unless it's their kids that they're picking up the tab for.
Could be.
Because they have fucking money and their kids don't. Because they fucking took it.
But their name is still on the loan, so they're therefore still responsible for the loan.
Right,
They
but they didn't need it. Their kids needed it. They didn't need the loan.
So then why? So then the question is, why don't they just freaking pay it off, right, and let it gain interest?
Because they're boomers. They want their kids to work for it. I grew up on a farm. You didn't work for what you wanted, you didn't get it. You wanted something, you had to earn it. Kids these days don't have that. They're just handed everything. They're given iPhones at 5 years old. What horse shit is that?
That is true.
Like, what? Instead of their parents being like, sit down and behave or figure out how to entertain yourself, they just give them an iPad and get them to shut up. We're not... This isn't... I don't think those numbers are right. That doesn't make any sense. How could they still have student loan debt 60 years later? That doesn't make... For more money than what they got back in 1970. Especially since majority of boomers don't have college degrees.
Average boomer debt.
Well, that will show a lot of debt. Because there are a lot of them with a lot of credit card debt. And that credit card debt vastly outweighs all the good.
Why would they freaking pay it off if they have money?
No, Phil. I'm talking a small minority of people have so much goddamn debt that it spills over into the average.
So we need to. So how can we look at the average and negate the outliers?
You can't.
Well, someone obviously has the data, and they could do that.
It's the Simpsons paradox.
Numbers, so we can't.
Well, it turns into the Simpsons paradox. You're cherry picking your data.
If you had every individual person, you could actually negate the outliers. Yeah. If you had the data on every person.
Yeah. If you want to get the real picture, just look up boomer average asset. It's stupid. The average, I think most of it's silent generation actually anymore. I think they just lumped them with boomers back when I saw it back in the day. But they have the majority of the wealth. They have the majority of the assets. They have the majority of the power. And they're holding on.
How do you account for the fact that, some boomers, are say, I don't know, is Buffett a boomer? Just how do you account for the people that are in the top 1%? How do you negate those outliers? No, the median, not the average, the median.
Median might be better. Median would be better, but you're not going to find median. I mean, you might. It's hard.
We have median retirement savings by age. Why does that say average?
Because average is easy. Everybody understands average. Not everybody understands median.
The middle? People can't find the middle number?
Do you realize how fucking stupid people are? Like, you're really assuming a lot.
Alright. Median retirement savings under 35 is 13,000. 35 to 44 is 60,000. What the? How do people afford anything?
They don't.
Between 65 and 74, average median savings I don't know if this is 401k or what they count as savings.
Well, see, that's the thing. What the fuck do they count as savings? Are stocks and bonds savings? Or is it just a savings account? Because who the fuck keeps a shit ton of money in a savings account?
Because to me, if you have 164,000 as a boomer in your savings account, that's pretty good. But if you have 164,000 in your 401k, sir, I don't know if you can retire on that.
But the other thing is the 164,000 your savings, is that all your money? You don't know.
Yeah, that's all I have.
You don't know.
Here's the deal, right? 164,000. If that's how much money you have, then taking out 4% a year would leave you with an income. So that way you don't, because the idea is to have money and then you live off just the interest and not the principal. That leaves you with $6,500 a year. I guess we could, yeah, because 4% is about right, because you want to, well, you could go higher. No, but they couldn't go higher. Because that accounts for inflation. Inflation grows, your interest accounts, and then what your interest grows is supposed to offset that. And so basically you just get the same amount every year if the stock market does what it does. $6,500 a year, which you could not live off of.
Nope.
I don't know how anyone can live off of $6,500 a year.
They don't.
I'm sure there are some people that somehow manage, but I'm sure
homeless people.
I'm sure their quality of life is much lower than what most people would want to live in.
Homeless people and housewives live off $6,500 a year. And those are the housewives that their husbands just keep all the money and give them like nothing. So, you know, they're not fun version of a housewife. The fun version of a housewife is your husband gives you lots of money and you just get to go spend and do things.
I want the complete opposite. You know, I want. Is there a sugar wife so that I can be the house?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can find them, but they don't tend to go for men or people at all. They don't have time for families and relationships. They're high power individuals, independent. They don't need us.
Strong, independent woman.
Yep.
They have parthenogenesis. They don't need a man.
Yeah. Get a calcium spike and they can have a child and they'll have it all.
Yep. What do they need a man for? They can have a kid on their own. They can raise it on their own.
It'll be a clone of themselves.
Yep.
What do they need us for?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I think that's what it is, right? Isn't it like a calcium spike that usually causes it?
With frogs?
No, they haven't explained that yet. Dr. Grant talked more about the frogs, but he didn't get very specific.
Well, we also didn't finish listening to the book. Do you think they'll get more specific or no?
There's 4 hours left right now. I've listened to probably another 2 hours at the moment. I'm 2 hours ahead of where we were. They just explained a bit more, but he did.
About the frogs?
Huh?
About the frogs?
Yeah. All he said was that some species, males and females, are really close. They don't look very different from each other, and they don't It wasn't a very good explanation. It wasn't as good as the movie. I like the movie better, but maybe we'll get that explanation. The movie also.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, most people say they like the book better for a lot of things.
Oh, I mean, the book is way better. Other than the T-Rex continues to chase spoilers. The T-Rex seems to just have a vendetta against Grant and the kids.
Yeah.
She just chases. What?
What other food does it have?
It literally ate a dinosaur earlier in the book, and it was tired and full. And yet it decided to chase after 2 children and an adult.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. It has a vendetta against them. I mean, maybe after chasing off the younger Rex, it decided it didn't want to go back to its kill. I don't know.
It didn't like the taste of dinosaur.
I guess it has spent a ton of energy on chasing Grant and these kids, and it just doesn't make any sense. They also changed a few other things. For one thing, Dr. Grant and Ellie aren't really an item. The kids were like, ooh. In the movie, they were closer to an item than they are in the book. In the movie, she didn't. She's actually. I think she's engaged in the book to some banker in Chicago, or maybe he was a lawyer. I think he was a lawyer or banker in Chicago.
Someone with money.
Yeah, someone with money living in Chicago. He's either a lawyer or a banker. The kids naturally asked if Grant and Ellie were married. Or a thing. And Grant was like, no. He did smile about it, but he was like, no. In the movie, they were clearly an awkward thing, but never became official. They also the kids never get electrocuted by the fence.
Oh yeah.
In fact, what happens is they go over a waterfall in a raft.
Yep.
And he has to do very quick, brief CPR on the little girl. Like, it was like literally 2 sentences.
Oh.
And he performed CPR, and she coughed up a bunch of liquid and started to breathe. You're like, oh, it was a lot bigger of a deal in the movie. And also what's interesting, I noticed, I don't know if you remember this, but the ages between the boy and the girl are different in the movie than they are in the book. In the book, the girl is younger, is like 5 or 6 years old compared to, or maybe like 7 or 8 at the most, compared to Tim, who's 11, I think he was 11 in the movie too, but the daughter was like 14 in the movie. So she was also like good with computers and stuff. In this, she's just kind of in the way and annoying. So maybe the movie made a change and it was just like, we can't just have this annoying girl causing problems for our adventurers. So they made her stronger and better. Which is a fine change, to be honest. It's kind of annoying. Oh. She's kind of annoying, but in the book. They also, there's still 4 hours. The park is up and running again. They never got it up and running again or they did, very briefly. Then the raptors attacked, and they just left. They still haven't told them about the raptors on the boat. That's an interesting change. I'm curious how that's going to go. Because they haven't... The phone lines are still dead.
Yeah.
I think they did they might have gotten them fixed. It wasn't... I wasn't very clear. I think it was. They had to turn the system off and turn it back on. But the movie, that was a way more dramatic of a thing. In the book, it was just... it was dramatic, but there weren't raptors trying to kill them. Or at least Michael Crichton's interpretation of a raptor. His version of a raptor didn't actually exist.
Does not or does?
Does not. They're actually a combination of a lot of dinosaurs. Actual raptors were like turkeys with claws.
Well, he did say they're like a foot tall.
No, those were the compies.
Be like 3 feet tall.
Nope, those were the compies.
Compies.
The ones that they found in the forest in Costa Rica. The raptors in this are like 6 feet tall. Also,
I thought, because I thought when they were talking about the raptors, I thought they were talking about the things that they said were 12 inches tall.
the baby was 12 inches tall. If you remember the baby at the very beginning. Also, the Dilophosaurus is not poisonous. That was actually made up for the movie. We don't know if they shot poison or not, but in real life, they are not like that. Also, the T-Rex wouldn't roar in real life.
What, roar?
Mm-mm.
How come they always portray T-Rexes in like everything?
The T-Rex, that's because it's all based off Jurassic Park or Godzilla. The T-Rex, a roaring is a mammal thing. Lions use it for intimidation. They don't think it evolved. Why would they don't believe the Tyrannosaurus Rex would evolve to roar?
Really?
Yeah. Also, it cannot run very fast. You can outrun a T-Rex.
What about its stride?
You probably couldn't outrun its stride, but in the Jurassic World film, where what's her face outruns a T-Rex in heels, you can do that. The world record 100-meter dash.
I don't know. It says some biomechanics researchers argue the T-Rex can move much slowly, perhaps 6 kilometers or 10 miles an hour, which is roughly an average human runner. Now, I suppose with adrenaline, you could probably get up to 15. But I don't know what's endurance.
But again, a T-Rex wouldn't have that endurance. But again, they also point out, why the fuck would a T-Rex chase a human in the first place? It's so very little calories that it would, if you started to run, it would like maybe lunge and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna burn too much energy trying to chase after you than it's worth. Like, it's not worth it for it to run at full speed. It isn't. They talked about in film theory. They talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got this information. Matt Pat's
film theory is Matt Pat, right?
Was anyways, but yeah.
What do you mean? What? He doesn't do it anymore?
He retired.
Retired?
Yeah.
You mean retired?
It just caused too much stress running all these channels, and he wants to spend time with his kids, so.
So he does no YouTube now?
He shows. I think he was doing his live streaming channel, and then he just kind of does like side pet projects, you know.
Because I loved his food theory.
Food theory is no longer him.
Well, I know, but I got really into that.
Yep, food theory, game theory, and film theory, and fashion theory. They're all somebody else.
Damn. He actually made a thing on how long could you survive in the grocery store before Mr. Beast did it.
Yeah, I saw that. Technically, you could probably do it indefinitely, but...
He did. He talked about that, but you'd have to have a floral department.
Yeah.
If they don't have a floral department, then you could not do it indefinitely.
Well, you could live
The whole
off
idea
potatoes.
the whole idea is to build a plant,
Yeah. You could live off potatoes.
but you need soil. From
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
floral. So that's why I was saying if they don't have a floral department, then you could not.
Oh, I thought he said I'd just tear up the floor.
The floor. Oh, I said floral.
Yeah, but I thought he said you just tear up the floor.
No, he was saying the potting soil on the
Oh,
floral department.
I would tear up the floor.
The floor.
Yeah. There's soil
They
underneath
can
there.
grow on the what?
You tear up the floor. Go through the
Yeah, but-
concrete.
They grow through the concrete.
No, you tear up the concrete.
What do they grow in? What do you bury them in?
The dirt. You remove the floor. Under the concrete, there's dirt.
No, but how do you get through the concrete?
Yeah, you figure it out.
What do you mean figure? How?
You've got a lot of time to get through the concrete. Water.
Anyways,
If you have running water.
if you have running water. No, I think his was no electricity, right? Well, yeah, he made two because it depended on whether or not you have to learn electricity. Because I think he assumed that you did not have electricity because otherwise you could have frozen food and it come back to vegetables and all that. Because you wanted to assume that worst case scenario. Because if the worst case scenario can be done, then that means the best case scenario can also be done. So we
Correct.
assumed the worst case scenario, which was no electricity.
Yeah.
And I think even with the worst case scenario, I think even if you did not have access to soil, it still was like 40 or 50 years. Worst case scenario.
Yeah, well, you could, all that rotting food you could turn into soil. All your shit.
Yeah.
You can
is there
then
a ratio
also
that-
chip up the concrete. I'm not
Is there
saying
a
dig
ratio,
through it.
though, is there a ratio though of shit to soil?
Well, yeah.
can it
So
grow
no,
in
what you need then is like a backing material, but that can be achieved quite easily with concrete. You just use the concrete again. You grind up the concrete. We'll figure it out.
How? You'll figure it out.
You just turn the concrete into dust.
How?
Mix that with the shit. Get a piece of metal and start doing this.
I still have not heard the how.
I literally just said get a piece of metal and do this.
I don't have my phone.
You can't. Here, pick up the metal and do this. Sorry, viewers. Did you hear that?
I heard something. I don't know what you were doing.
I'm rubbing
I
my
don't know if I wanna know
popsicle
what you-
stick
I don't know
against
if
the
I-
microphone. You take a piece of metal
I want to know what you
and you rub and you take a piece of metal and you rub against the concrete till it chips and fractures and breaks. You make dirt. And rocket science. But again, you also have all the rotting plants and other junk.
Rotting plants?
Rotting, yeah, from the vegetables that you couldn't eat before they started to rot.
Can it grow, but it would still need some soil though, right?
No,
I don't know if can it grow in just pure compost?
yes and no. It does. It probably needs. It needs some sort. It probably needs another binder, but that I don't think you could probably grow plants.
And where do you get the water to water it if you don't have access to running water?
It's a Walmart. You have so much goddamn water. Plus, I would just make water.
Oh, you're gonna make water with ingredients at not a supermarket like a Walmart, a grocery store.
Yeah, I would make a solar still.
Out of what?
Plastic wrap? You're in a grocery store.
I suppose.
You go to the back aisle, there's so much goddamn plastic wrap.
It is true.
Now, solar still usually works because there's moisture somewhere else. I have to think about a design to harvest moisture out of the air, but it could be done. It could be done. But anyway,
Once you've used up all the moisture in the air, the only moisture that would be entering the air is from you breathing.
yeah.
You breathe enough water vapor to collect in a harness to actually water something?
Well, you're also going to have excess water from fires, from all the plants that are dehydrating and rotting.
Oh, yeah, we'd be starting a fire in the store, wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm. There'll be excess water in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Will there be enough to live off of? I don't know. That is an Andy Warner question. That's like we're talking.
See another YouTuber?
No, this is the guy that wrote The Martian.
Oh.
I don't know his last name, but that's an Andy question.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New podcasts, other than last week where we missed one, every Friday, noon Central Time, and good night.